Who here is ready to get shit done in your life, in your business? This book that we're talking about today, Action Takers Who Get Shit Done, that's what it's all about. We have dreams, desires, hopes. We want to manifest things. We pray for things. But if they're staring us in the face and we don't take any action, nothing's going to happen. So today I'm going to bring up one of our authors, Karsta Hurd. We're going to be talking about this book, how she gets shit done in her life, in her business. And we're going to bring her up right now and in just a second. There we go. Hello, Karsta. It's good to have you here today.
So good to be here. I always love chatting with you.
Me too. There's this like synergy that we have with each other, and I love spending time with you. And I think that's one thing that's really important for us, to spend time with people that we like to spend time with, right? And search those people out. And I'm curious, this book, Action Takers Who Get Shit Done. What was it about the title that attracted you to join us in this book?
Oh my goodness. I think because it's just so, I guess all of your titles for all the collaborations are always, but like, you know what you're getting with this book just by the title, right? Like, that's just what it's about. It's just about getting shit done. I also kind of like how in your face it is. I know I went to an event and was promoting the Overcomer book and had a little plaque that this book, Get Shit Done, was coming soon. And so many people commented on it. They're like, oh my God, I need that book in my life. I need that book in my life. So I just think it's like right in your face. And yeah.
It's funny you mentioned right in your face. I kind of chuckled when you said that, because when the title of the book first came up, I got a little nervous about saying the word shit. For social media,
right.
For, people know us for what we are known for. And I don't swear. That's like one of the very few words that I ever say, that's considered a swear word.
Yeah.
And so when it came up, I know we talked about, changing it to get stuff done, get it done, get stuff done. Like we had, Sally and I talked about so many different titles. And just like you said, I said, you know what, but this is what it is. It is like, get shit done. And so, we really wanted to stick with that title. Now for you, go ahead.
I was just gonna say though, I like the play on the cover art, so that for those who might not be comfortable with it, you kind of can overlook the part, right? It's like, I don't know. I kind of like it. It's almost like this little nod to like, I don't know. I like it.
Yeah. And we have some of our authors are calling, get it done. They're calling it different things. And for me, it doesn't matter what they call it, as long as they buy the book and they, and they use it, because this book is intended as a way, like I guess like a kind of like a manual. If you're having challenges in your business, there's probably an answer for it in this book. If you're having challenges in your personal life, there's probably an answer for it in this book. And first, I want to give nods to Sally, because that was her idea, to kind of like make the SH, a different color, just so that we could, have the eyes could do whatever they want to do with it, right? So Karsta, your chapter title is Why I Don't Do Self-Care. And one of the reasons that Sally's not interviewing you is because she's the self-care rock star. And so I don't want to have like you two like bouncing against each other. But anyway, why don't you share with us, why don't you do self-care, and what the heck does that mean?
Yeah. So I think the overarching premise behind the title for my chapter and why I actually don't do what a lot of people consider self-care is because I believe that kind of as a culture, we have oversimplified and overcomplicated self-care, right? It's so much more than just a bubble bath and a glass of wine or a night on the couch with Netflix or any of those things. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for those things. I had my dinner and my glass of wine on the couch last night watching Netflix. I'm all about that. But it's also about caring for our spirit and our whole being on a more in-depth level. And while I can appreciate and enjoy and support all those things, I really want to encourage women to do more than that for themselves, but more in smaller ways. And that's how it kind of ties back then into the book, is because I break down a 1 minute self-care tip that I do, so that you're getting those I always equate it to like plugging in your cell phone, even if you're taking a 5-minute drive in your car because the battery's getting low, and we always make sure that we just plug it in to get that extra little juice to get through the next thing. That's kind of the intent behind my 1-minute self-care, is to give yourself that 1 minute of just, I think so often people say, "Okay, we'll just pause and breathe," right? We tell ourselves that all the time. Things are crazy. We're like, "Wait, just breathe." And it's really a way to facilitate that in the moment so that you're really actually caring for yourself.
I love this because for me, like, there's a lot of women who like love to go shopping, right? It's relaxing, or love to go get their nails done, or go get
Yeah,
their hair done, or get facials and massages. Like, there's all these different things that we consider self care. For
yep,
me, some of those things are stressful.
yeah,
So that is not self care. And so I think what I love about what you're saying is it got me thinking when I read your chapter, it got me thinking, what does self care mean to me? Is it
mhm,
doesn't matter what it means to anybody else, because for them, that's awesome. I love it. That's that they know that. But for me, that's a stressful time. It always has been, because
yep,
when I'm getting my nails done, all I'm thinking is that I can't be working because my hands are not. I can't use my hand. If I could learn to type with my feet, I would,
there you go.
so, hey, maybe I can. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, I love that. So do you want to share with us, like, what is this 1 minute? Or do you want them to get the book to find out what that one
I
minute
kinda
is?
want them to get the book,
Oh, we do want them to get the book, of
but I
course.
do.
Right.
But I will say this, one it's kind of an aside to that. One thing I can offer people is really at any point in your day, anytime you can just pause. I did this just the other day. I did actually go get my hair done because I needed to, because it was atrocious after my trip. Um, but I was sitting there, and any time in your day that you can just, I would say, pause and tap into your 5 senses. And, like,
Which are
so what can you see right now? What can
okay.
you smell?
Uh,
What can you hear? And what can you, like, feel on your skin, or, like, what do you notice in your physical environment that you can feel? And then, and just really,
taste, right?
yeah,
What about taste? Like,
taste is a little bit weird. Some people like to do that one. I don't particularly, but,
I like chocolate, so I'll taste some chocolate.
sure, or whatever. If you had a good sip of coffee or something, go for that. But just tapping into your senses, and I guess that's sort of the premise behind the 1 minute. I just kind of walk you through how to do that with some intention. But anytime you can do that, and it just, like, for me, it helps bring me to the present moment and get out of my head a little bit, get out of the spinning cyclone that's up there. Even, like I always say, when I'm brushing my teeth, that's one of my favorite times to just really, I pause, and I taste the toothpaste in my mouth, and I, like, feel my mouth getting clean. Or, for me, in the shower, when I can smell the shampoo and feel the soap and the hot water and all the things. So just taking those moments when you're most up in your head to just breathe. And the easiest way to do that is to tap into your senses.
mm. We just recently bought a hand soap that
Mhm.
I love the smell of it.
I love that.
And I do exactly, I'll wash my hands longer just
Yeah, and
because I get to smell,
yeah,
oh my gosh, I'm
yeah.
just remembering it right now. It smells so good. It's like a black, like wild black cherry smell. And oh my gosh, yeah, it's just really, I love it. I bought 10 bottles of it last time we were at the store because I want to
Cool.
make sure they don't run out.
Yeah,
So,
you're so funny.
but like you said, like, it's the simple things. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be anything elaborate. It can be, something maybe in your backyard. You have a flower that you like.
Mhm,
There's one of my favorite flowers is what's called blooming jasmine, I think it's
mhm.
called, where it just smells so good. And again, a smell. Like, I love smell, good smells. And so if we can surround ourselves with those things that we love, so
Yeah,
figuring out what they are, I think is the key,
right,
is right, figuring out what it is. So how do we stop to figure those things out? Like,
right,
what we love looking at, what we love smelling, what we love
exactly.
feeling. How do we do that?
Right, and well, I think, and that's where it starts with this 1-minute process that I outline in my chapter, because it makes you tap into all of them, and you start noticing, like you just said, you outlined exquisitely this idea of smell. That's clearly something that's sort of rejuvenating and energizing for you. My mother, for example, much like getting your nails done and your hair done and all of that stresses you out, gardening, I know, is really stressful for a lot of people. For her, that is her favorite way to start her day. She walks around, she putzes with her flowers, so for her, it's the visual of that, right? And so,
Yeah.
but just taking the time, I think, to do all of them so that you can find, and maybe it's, I like to see a couple, like for me, when I go for my walks, I love to see the beautiful colors in nature. But I'm with you, like a good smelling soap or a good smelling candle that in my home, that I love that.
Yeah, I think that's great. Gosh, we're running out of time, but I want you to tell people they can connect with you at karstamarie.com.
Yep.
That's Karsta Marie.com.
Yep.
And what can they do with you when they head over there?
Oh my goodness. Well, I will apologize. It's a little bit under construction right now, but they can find ways to connect with me via email. You can just take a peek, read a little bit of my background and my bio, how I got started as a coach and an author and a speaker and all the things. You can read about some of the motivational speeches that I've given, the audiences I've spoken to, what coaching with me looks like, all the things. It's all very informational, I guess, over there right now.
Awesome. Well, head on over there and connect with Karsta, please. Karsta, I want to ask you like a final question for
Yep.
today is, by reading this book, what do you want people to walk away with?
I think the book as a whole, I think I want people to understand that, we all have, like, kind of like you started out at the beginning, we all have these things that we dream about, we want to manifest. And sometimes we think that manifesting is sort of, sending it out to the universe and then just sitting there hoping and praying that it's just going to fall in our laps. Because I think we've sort of been fed this idea that that's what it is. There's an element of action to manifesting what you want, and not just things. You want to feel a certain way in your life or a certain way in your business. There's things you have to do to create the circumstances that make room for that. And I think that this book beautifully outlines all of, like, pick a topic, right? And it outlines ways that you can make room for what it is you're seeking, and whether it's your life or your business. For my
Awesome.
chapter in particular, I would love to think that I hope people see that incorporating self-care isn't as complicated as, I mentioned, like for a lot of moms, this is why I wrote my chapter. It's really stressful to think about creating a self-care moment for yourself, right? It's very like, I have to put the kids to bed and I have to get the bath drawn. I have to do all the things. It doesn't have to be that stressful. You can do it anytime, any place.
I love that. And that's an important piece right there. You can do it anytime, any place. There's no set of circumstances that you have to wait for in order for it to happen. It can be while you're driving. It can be while you're just sitting on the couch doing nothing, right? So there's never the right time and right place. So don't wait. Go out there. This book is not about stress. It's like when we talk about, getting shit done, it's not about stress. This is actually the opposite. These are techniques and tools that you can use to make it less stressful so that you can accomplish the things that you're wanting to accomplish. Right. So go to actiontakerspublishing.com/GSD. Get your copy of Action Takers Who Get Shit Done Today. Super, super excited about this. And thank you, Karsta, so much for being here. And Sally, we're going to run a quick, testimonial right now. And we'll see you at the next interview. Thanks, Karsta, so much.
Thank you.
One of the things that I've personally found from my experience of working with Action Takers Publishing is that I've walked away with more friends than I had before because of the relationship that you build with the authors while working in an anthology. I think it's an amazing project to be able to get published. It's a fantastic way to get published the first time, and I've almost seen people who get hooked on doing anthologies because once that bug is bitten, you feel like you can release more and more and more and more stories, and Linda's got a bunch of titles that I think resonates with a lot of us who live in the real world.